Hello again, I'm Cindy Syperek. I'm the Director of Programming and Content here at WYCC, and we are in the WYCC studios. I'm joined by mystery author Brian Pinkerton. Welcome, Brian. Thank you so much for being here. And you know, I feel like we have so much to talk about. There's so much ground you want to cover and never enough time to do it in. But one of the things I really wanted to find out from you is about your writing process. Can you share a little bit with our viewers about?
Sure. It's a little unusual in that I don't create my novels on a computer. I write out the first draft by hand, and then I write out the second draft by hand. And I find that it's a lot more freeing to my creativity to just start with blank paper and a pen and no distractions. I find writing on the computer to be very distracting. I want to check my email, I want to go to websites, I want to play with the fonts, and suddenly I'm getting away from the storytelling. So I literally go into my basement and it's just me and the furnace and blank pieces of paper and a pen, and I find that just really unleashes my creativity and gets rid of all the distractions.
Got it. Now, do you have sort of deadlines that you put on yourself? Like, you know, we spoke earlier with another author, Jamie Frevaletti, and she said she has a 1,000 word minimum that she's going to write per day. Is that how you do it, or is that intimidating? To me, I think that would be too much pressure for me. If I was a writer, I don't know, that would be like, oh, gotta get a couple more words out.
Well, given that I'm handwriting, it's hard to count the words, so I don't use that, but I do use kind of a time frame. So I almost, it's like I lock myself in the basement for 6 hours, and I say I'm going to be down here, and if the first couple of hours are a writer's block or I'm still getting ideas generated, that's okay. But I'm not going to give up, I'm going to keep going. So it's really putting aside time frames where I just commit that time to writing, and also going in prepared. So I'm not really writing spontaneously, but I've got an outline, I've got my index cards, I know where it's going to go. And for me, the experience is really just kind of finding out how the characters react to the story that I'm going to put them into.
Really? So that you have your outline, but the characters they're happening.
It's happening to them, and I don't quite know how they're going to react. So that's where it gets a little bit of spontaneity for me, but the plot is usually pretty rigid by the time I've set it up. So that's not spontaneous. With a mystery, you really want to have everything kind of resolved at the end. You want to kind of parcel out the information, and so that's all set up in advance.
That's really interesting, and I thank you so much for sharing that with us. Just as a fan of mystery, reading mysteries, watching mysteries, I often wonder how that works. I figured that you had to have that basic plot, you know, who's going to die and who did it and how they did it, and it's a matter of how we get there. But the whole question of characters and how they're built, that's really interesting, because I find that in a lot of mysteries, you really start to identify with those characters, and so fascinating, and I appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. Thank you so much for joining us. If mystery is something that's important to you, give us a call, 888-993-9922, and we'll bring you more authors and more mysteries like Brian Pinkerton.